Don't know the time, yeah. Just know that I'm, yeah, one of a kind, yeah. What's on your mind, yeah. Well, hard to find, yeah. Beautiful mind, yeah. Still in my prime, yeah. Just know that I'm here.
Don't laugh at me too much. I'm still getting used to it. Hey guys, how you going? Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today at Infinite Fitness Peninsula with the great man Steve Roberts over there. We're going to be shooting a little bit of a personal branding session for him. Luckily in Australia right now we are able to go out and still shoot as long as there's less than 2 people there. Steve actually owns the gym. I'll introduce you to him in a minute, but he came to me and said, can we do some personal branding stuff? He's going to take the opportunity in this time to build up his own personal brand and sort of spread his knowledge and awareness of the industry that he's in, which is fitness. I've worked with Steve before for a promotional piece in December last year, October, December last year, I think. And it was really fun, really good experience. So really enjoyed working with Steve, even though I fucked up big time, didn't I? I fucked up so bad. I was late 3 times in a row, so that wasn't good. But obviously I didn't do too badly with the edit. So while we're shooting these pieces, guys, I'm going to take you through how to shoot fitness videos. I know it's a very popular industry, especially now. A lot of people are shooting a lot of fitness content, so I'll take you through what we're doing, how we're doing it, and the sort of approach we're taking. So let's get into it. Alrighty guys, so this is the main man himself, Steve. He's going to be our model / we're doing the personal branding for him. What we've set up is, or what Steve set up, is a little circuit training. So what we decided to do is go through 1 round with photos and 1 round with videos. For you guys, I'm teaching you how to do the videos for fitness. So one thing I'd always recommend is shooting in a high frame rate. I'm going to be shooting this basically all in slow-mo, and even if I need to use that footage at a normal pace, I'll keep that high frame rate. Reason being is you want a high energy sort of feel for your videos when you're shooting fitness. When you do have that higher frame rate, it does feel like they're moving a little bit faster and it feels a little bit better. It's better to have less motion blur in fitness. And for me, I also really love the flexibility in post to be able to slow down the footage or really emphasize a movement if maybe Steve's looking really swollen one of the shots doing a dumbbell rise or something like that. But it helps really highlight that movement and show off really cool bits of the thing that you might miss if you're just shooting at 24 frames. Try and shoot slow-mo if you can. Even if you are shooting at 24p, consider cranking your shutter because it's going to give like almost a jarring sort of feel, but very high energy and very, I guess, I don't know what I'm saying, I lost it there. Very high energy and a very cool feel to your videos. So I will show you how we're going to do these things. I'll pop over to you guys every so often to explain the shots that I'm doing. I'm going to be shooting this handheld on my Sony a7 III with a 28-75. This is basically what I shoot most of my shoots on. So I'll pop over here every so often to check in with you guys and show you what I'm doing, explain a few shots, and we'll get into it. Let's go. All right guys, so Steve has just done round 1 of his little circuit. So I did photos first for the first round because I wasn't sure what sort of videos I wanted to do, what sort of footage I wanted to get for the first round. So for the second round, I will be shooting videos. There are a couple of scenes that I saw that I thought would be really cool. The style I like to go for when I am shooting videos around fitness is very smooth transitions, lots of whips and pans. So there was one scene where he was swinging the kettlebell. I'm going to follow the kettlebell up and then down and then whip out into the next transition. There was one where he was on the skier where that was quite fast paced and he was pushing really hard. I'm probably going to come up and lean into that and then flick back up out. If you are doing sort of whip transitions or pan transitions, it's very important to come in the same way that you left the last scene. What that means is if you've left the last scene on coming out to the left, you want to come in from the right with the same movement for your next scene. If you don't, it's going to be quite jarring. It's not going to make much sense to the audience, and they're going to sort of lose that immersion. So Steve's going to go for round number 2. We're going to shoot some video and see how we go. So we'll catch up with you guys in a minute. All right guys, we've just finished up shooting those pieces, so this is the athlete himself. I was going to get him to introduce himself before, but I'm a rude fuck, so I forgot. So Steve, why don't you introduce yourself?
You're in the zone. I didn't want to get you out of that zone either. All right guys, so
Like Ed mentioned earlier, my name's Steve. I'm one of the co-owners of Infinite Fitness Peninsula gym based in Cranbourne. Doing a lot of online training work at the moment. So beginning of 2020, before we hit the pandemic of COVID-19, it was a year for me to get outside my comfort zone and start working a little bit on social media. So here we are in the middle of a pandemic now and trying to further ourselves even more and just get better.
As I said before, guys, Steve is a legend, really easy to work with. I'll explain my sort of methodology a little bit more when we get back to my studio and explain how I'm going to edit this. But like I said, I was shooting 1/200 shutter speed, 100 frames a second, nice and energetic sort of movements, mixing in between wide shots and really punched in shots. That's just more the style I like to do. So we'll jump back to my place and then get into the edit.
Don't know the time, yeah. Just know that I'm, yeah, one of a kind, yeah. What's on your mind, yeah. Well, hard to find, yeah. Beautiful mind, yeah. Still in my prime, yeah. Just know that I'm here. Too many nights, yeah. Not feeling right, yeah. Too many nights, yeah. Not feeling right, yeah. I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. Too many nights, yeah. Not feeling right, yeah. Too many nights, yeah. Not feeling right, yeah. I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. I can't be still inside, still inside. It's not insomnia, really. I'm not a zombie, a thriller. I'm moving.
All right, few things to address. Admittedly, this is not the same day as we shot that, just because I got like really caught up with client work, which I was really lucky to be hit with a few jobs over the last few weeks. And then I had the old isolation COVID-19 slump where my creative block was well and truly there, and I was like really struggling to get back into this. So power through, I'm here now. You guys just saw the piece that I edited up for Steve. Rather than going through every single scene and going over every single transition, I'm going to talk about the three main tools that I use that I felt really added depth and a lot of character to that piece that you just saw. We're going to jump into my computer real quick, but before we do that, I will just explain a few things. I think upon editing it up a little bit and reviewing what I said, with the shooting 120 frames a second or shooting in a high frame rate, definitely not necessary. I did say that I like to do it and I think it's a good way to do it. That is my personal opinion. You don't necessarily have to shoot at 100 frames a second, 120 frames a second. I find personally that sort of jarring lack of motion blur that you get with a higher frame rate can actually be quite beneficial to sports, and it does give a sort of high energy, high impact feel, and I do like the flexibility of a slow-mo in post. So I do apologize if I came across a little bit like this is the way you do it, which is not always, guys. This is a creative pursuit, so you do it how you want to do. So we're going to jump into my computer, guys. I'm going to take you through some methodology behind how I shot those, a quick masking transition, which is really basic, really quick, and then some sound design, which really tied it all together. So let's jump into the computer and get going.
Alrighty guys, so here we are in DaVinci Resolve. Now what we've got here is our final piece, all edited up, the one that you saw previously. Now you would have noticed when you're watching it, there was three main transitions that we want to go through. What I'll take you through really quickly, guys, is basically two things that I think really sell a video with fitness, and that is sound design and transitions. When we're going through our transitions, you would have noticed I had two types of transitions. There was one here, which is your glitch transition. I do not need to explain that because that is literally just a drag and drop. You go and download that off the internet somewhere. I use motionarray.com. What we will be talking about is these masking transitions here. So mask reveal, and these whip pan transitions with a speed ramp, just like this one. So we'll duck into speed ramps really quick. Okay guys, so let's go through speed ramping and whip transitions. So for me, I've got these three clips as you've seen before of Steve on the rower, into the burpee, and then into the kettlebell swing. Now for me, it's really important to have nice smooth movement. It's pretty much the golden rule when you're doing whip and pan transitions. You want to have continuous movement. What I mean by that is if you're finishing a scene like this one on an upwards motion, you want to start the next scene in an upwards motion as well. If you go from upwards to a downwards motion, it just does not look good at all. So make sure you're having continuous motion. For me, when I'm doing speed ramping, I really want to slow down the clip at a point that's really going to accentuate the moment or build in the story. So for this clip specifically, I remember seeing Steve come down in that row and I thought I'm going to use this to really build up suspense and intensity in the clip, and then once we hit here and it goes bang, pulls on the rower, we're going to flick up and then hit that sort of peak and then continue the excitement in the video. So to really sell that effect, what I need to do, first of all, bring up our retime controls in DaVinci Resolve. I'm going to find the scene where he starts leading back in, find the point in the scene. I'm going to add a speed point here, which is right click on this arrow, add speed point. When you add a speed point, what that means is if you manipulate the speed on this part of the clip, it's not going to affect the beginning part. So what I'll do now is find the bit where he starts pulling on the thing. Yep, bang, right about there is where I want it to speed back up again. And I'm going to change this to 25%, and then you can see what we've got now is slow motion when he's going back down, and bang, hits it straight back up. Now, if you wanted to go for a more jarring look, I'd leave it like that. If you're looking to smooth out the speed of your clip, what I'd do is go into right click, retime curve, and you're going to bring up this second box just here for your clip. When we click on these little clips down here, you can see we've got this straight line. What that means is it's going to go straight from 25% to 100% flat out. If you don't want that, you don't want that really jarring sort of look, you click this and it's going to curve it out, bring these two arrows, and you can see we can play with that curve. Now when we look at that, after we've manipulated these, take away our retime curve, you can see that the transition from 100% over to 25% through here is much smoother. And then bang, hits it, boom. So that one works really, really well. So now all I've got to do is go through and manipulate all these again, guys, and I'm going to speed this up real quick because you don't want to watch me retime curve all this, and then we'll watch the whole thing back to back and you'll see how it flows. Alrighty guys, that is all done. So if we watch this back, you can see with using the slow motion on certain bits of the clips, you really accentuate the movements, using the speed ramping to blast into the next scene. Let's watch it back and see how we did. As you can see, that flows together really, really well. So next thing, guys, is masking. Now I'm going to blast through this really quick, guys, because this is a whole another video in itself. All you've got here is two clips. So I've got the clip of Steve doing his stretching, and I didn't really like it. It was quite a plain sort of scene. So what I decided to do is use this squat rack bar here to swipe across the screen with the intention of intertwining something else. So I used this ski scene for him. So all we're going to do once we've got our two scenes is layer them on top of each other. We're going to mask out behind the pole just here. You can see it's directly across the pole, every single frame all the way, keyframing until we reveal the scene underneath. Now I will do a in-depth tutorial on this one, guys, because it is very different on DaVinci Resolve as opposed to other softwares. This is more of a demonstration to show you what I do use when I'm editing. So alright guys, so last piece of the puzzle is sound design. Here we've got the different layers of sound design. Now I have muted these so I can show you everything that I've used. First things first, you saw the clips just before without any sound at all. Now let's do it with the song just here, and you'll notice the difference just having music has. So good, but not great. Like the song is a massive factor in whether a video is well received or not. Obviously you've got to match up to the song, to the vibe that you're shooting with, but I think another thing that a lot of beginner videographers overlook is the secondary sounds in your video. First thing I did, guys, really quick, was these heartbeat in the background because I really wanted the build up to be intense and I wanted to bring that intensity. Obviously we associate workouts with a lot of higher heart rate and heavy breathing. So what I've got in the background, as you can hear just here, is just a heartbeat. Really, really simple. Last little bit is we've got our little glitch transitions, and I think especially with transitions you can really sell them a lot more with sound design. So over these glitch transitions I've just got this little glitch sound effect. Over our whip and pan transitions I've got these sound effects, these whoosh sound effects, or these punch and pan sound effects. As you can see with this rowing scene, I used it in conjunction with the heartbeat to really add some intensity and some build up to the scene, and you know that the next few scenes are going to be quite intense, quite fast paced and quite dramatic. So listening to that with the heartbeat and the cold swoosh, you're going to hear how much of a difference it makes. So as you can see, just those factors alone coupled together make a huge difference. If you've got any one element by itself, it just doesn't really work. But when you're adding them all together, you're going to really build up to create an amazing piece.
So that's it, guys. That is how I edit fitness videos. I know I didn't go through everything you were seeing because this did take me about 4 hours to do, and I'm sure you guys do not want to stare at my ugly head for that long, but the main principles of what I'm using to shoot these videos and my thought process is in here. Pretty much all these principles you can apply to any video. I'd say the absolute key one would be sound design. I think that's a really important one that it gets often gets overlooked when it comes to videography. We all worry about having the crispest visuals and making sure that we've got the absolute best colors, but sound design is a huge thing, and it is something that shouldn't be overlooked. So that one especially is something that you can take to all your videos. These transitions themselves are something that I just tend to lean towards when I'm shooting fitness videos. I find they are very effective in communicating the energy and the vibe of a fitness video, if it is this sort of fitness video. So it's sort of my go-to. So either way, guys, I do hope you got something out of this. I really hope it was enjoyable for you. That is it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If this didn't make any sense, I'm really sorry, but I'm trying my best here. I hope you guys are doing really well in isolation, or as well as you can do, and I will speak to you guys soon. Oh, wait, if you have gotten this far, like, comment, subscribe.